Hello, friends. So I'm here in New Hampshire. It's 7 o'clock, and I'm so happy that you joined me today. I'm so excited to share this with you. It's something that I thought was pretty important right now because of all the pandemic stuff that's going on, and a lot of people are afraid, and it's natural, right, to feel afraid right now, and to feel to have these negative thoughts and negative feelings and exasperation, frustration. So, how do we get to that fear, transform that fear that we have to feeling more positive and feeling more empowered? So, that's what we're going to talk about today. So, if you have any questions whatsoever, whether you're watching this talk right now or you're watching it at this present moment, or if you watch it later at a more convenient time for you, please feel free to reach out to me via email, or you can text me or call me, or you can check me out on Facebook, message me, or something like that. There's lots of different ways to get a hold of me, and I can explain more if you want to know more about this, or we can talk about other stuff. So, first of all, let's think about what it means to be afraid. So, first, you have to be aware that you are afraid. So, some signs of being afraid are, for example, if you're if you start cowering, if you start feeling down, if you start sweating, if you have this heaviness on your chest because there's just so much negativity around you, and it affects you, and maybe you're just getting really sad and you just really want to get out of that. So I prepared a couple of slides here that I want to share with you. And again, I'm so happy that you joined me, and I salute you for taking this time out of your schedule to think about this and to empower yourself. So let me go ahead and share my screen. All right, so let's take a look at what fear looks like. So if you just look, you could recognize it in other people. If you now, a lot of people are wearing masks, so it's hard to it's very easy to see the eyes, so people are afraid. So you people who are afraid, they look down on the ground, they don't see you eye to eye, or their eyes might open like this. So that's initially, for example, how you could see if someone's afraid. And then compare that to this person here and look at her eyes. They're very focused, they're very driven, they're very empowered. So this is what we want to feel like. This is not that you have to look that way, those eyes that way, but you want to feel that way. So you can just tell by the way she's looking that she feels empowered. So how do we get there? How do we get from being afraid, which is this lady here on the left, to being empowered? All right, so there's lots of different ways, and we're going to get to that as we go on. So the first thing I would say is when you wake up in the morning or throughout the day, it's very, very important to have these feelings of gratitude. Thank you, Source, or God, or Allah, whoever you admire and you look up to. Thank you for letting me get up in the morning, letting me put my feet on the ground. Thank you for feeling me breathe. Thank you for having food. Thank you for having a house under where I can sleep. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So the more you can get into those grateful moments, those grateful feelings, it's gonna help you, because if you feel grateful, you feel positive, and then you attract more things that you're feeling grateful for and more. And Dr. Bernie Siegel, who's a very famous person, he said that 10 minutes of gratitude a couple of times a day really, really helps your immunity. So you want to spend those 10 minutes just feeling grateful and being in that state, and that'll automatically help your immunity, which is so important right now. Again, gratitude really attracts abundance. So if you appreciate what you have, you attract more of it. So if I appreciate that I have food and I maybe share my food with somebody, then that comes from a place of abundance, because I realize I'm grateful for the food that I have, and there's a lot of food that I have that I can even give it away to people because there's there's food there. And so that attracts more abundance to your life. I'll give you an example. So I went, this is before the pandemic, the Subway fast food, where they have sandwiches. So I went there and I was feeling happy because I love Subway. It's just, I love their sandwiches. I especially love the tuna sandwich. So I went that day. I was very happy because I was happy I was going in there and getting my tuna sandwich. So I had a smile on my face. I said hi to this person. I said, thank you for making my sandwich. Thank you for working here. I know that you're very busy, so I really appreciate that you're making the sandwich for me. And so just that gratitude to her, and I smiled and she felt how grateful I was. So then because I was so grateful, she, at the end, after she made my sandwich and wrapped it up, she gave me a discount. Now I wasn't I wasn't extra nice to her to get that discount, but that just happened because she felt how grateful I was, and she was happy that I was grateful, and she was grateful that I was grateful. So it just creates more things, and she gave me like a 10% discount, and that's just something very, very simple that comes with gratitude. So then so that's the first thing you want to do, um, when you want to start feeling more empowered. You want to have positivity. That's the first thing. So the next thing is, another thing is, first you have to think about, do you have physical fear? So right now everybody's under quarantine, but normally when we're not, and we're not going to be in quarantine forever, so normally you think about, when you're walking in the street, are you physically afraid? Are you physically afraid that somebody's going to hurt you in the street, or somebody at the grocery store is going to start a fight with you? First, you really have to take care of that physical fear. In my strong opinion, in my very humble opinion, so I would say, have you thought of a self-defense program? So there are many, many self-defense programs, and you can start with something that's more gentle, like Tai Chi. To There's everything from Tai Chi to karate and everything in between. There's ground self-defense and everything, but as long as you know how to do something self-defense wise, you feel more empowered. Now, Tai Chi is something that is very soft and very slow, but slow makes fast, and soft makes hard. So even though you have these movements that are very soft, you can just quickly turn them into a strike. So, like, for example, if you're doing this in Tai Chi, you can turn that into a strike. So you want to feel self-empowered. And these when you there's some self-defense programs, a lot of them out there, that where you can feel empowered with, physically, in just a month. Maybe once a week you take a class for an hour and a half, and then after a month, you feel more empowered. You feel like you can take care of yourself, and that makes you feel great. That makes you feel like, you're just a tough person, and that makes you feel empowered. And these self-defense programs, they focus on vital striking areas that really you can't, it's very hard to uh, get muscles, for example, on your eyes or your nose, your throat, your solar plexus, and groin. It's very hard to have muscles on your eyes, right? So if somebody if somebody strikes you in your eyes, it's it's going to affect you no matter who you are. If Even if you're a huge, very muscular guy, it's going to affect you. So those self-defense programs really are focusing on those vital striking areas. So that's the first thing. You want to take care of your physical fear. Then you want to, nowadays, You also want to take care of your fear surrounding the pandemic. So, like we talked about, it's very normal to feel afraid right now because of this coronavirus. But the problem is that fear immobilizes you and it shuts everything down like a deer in the headlights. You know, or you see a squirrel and you're about to hit a squirrel, the squirrel doesn't know where to go left or right, so it just pauses there, freezes. So you're very vulnerable when you're afraid, and you don't want that because you want to feel empowered. You feeling afraid is not a good feeling at all. And so you want to take action to combat your fear and feel more empowered. So I talk about some ways to get there. First, just some very practical examples. Say you are afraid of running out of food. So right now, if you watch the news, they're saying that yes, it's gonna that we're gonna have no meat and no pork, and because uh, the everything is shutting down, and so it just makes you afraid. So what can you do about that? You can take stock of what you have for food, and you can plan around it so you can feel more empowered. So for example, I was feeling afraid of running out of food myself, so I said, well, let me see what I have, let me see what I could put together so that I have some meals there. What do I have in my pantry? What do I have in my refrigerator? And it turns out that I designed just very creative meals, and I said, oh, we're good for a few weeks here. So I found that, for example, I can make pasta and clams. You know, I had all the ingredients for pasta and clams. I grabbed this and I grabbed that, and there you go. I had a meal. So you can do that similarly. The point is you take action and you use your imagination. You use your creativity, and when you take action, you feel more control over things. That you have more control over things, and it helps you feel empowered because it reduces your fear. So that's an example of that right there. You guys with me? You understand what I'm saying? All right. Another way, another fear surrounding all this pandemic stuff is a lot of people are afraid to get sick. You know, everybody's wearing masks and everybody's staying 6 feet away. And you just, but people are still afraid. They're just terrified of this. And it's totally understandable. People are terrified of this coronavirus. So, how do you empower yourself for that? Well, you can do it very in many different ways. So first, physically, what can you do to empower yourself so you're not afraid to get sick? So of course you're going to exercise, you know, walking around the block a few times. You can try to eat nutritious foods as much as possible. Physically surround yourself with positive people. When you talk on the phone, talk to positive people, and that's going to help you. All right, mentally, you can also learn new things to use your mind to make sure your mind stays sharp. You can study interesting objects, interesting subjects. You know, you can, for example, read about history, or if you are interested in maybe taking up statistics, or maybe you're interested in taking up a computer programming, or maybe you're interested in art. You know, you think positive thoughts, and that'll help you mentally. Then how do you empower yourself emotionally and spiritually? Well, the one of the best ways, some of the best ways are, if you are spiritual, if you're religious, you can pray, of course, and you can also, no matter who you are, you can always meditate. And you can, meditation is has tons of benefits for you emotionally, mentally, physically. The list of benefits for meditation is huge. So um, that really helps you empower yourself if you are afraid that you're going to get sick, and your breathing normalizes, and of course your heartbeat normalizes, and all of that is going to help you to have a balanced body and mind, and that's going to help you feel more empowered. Also, if you're afraid to get sick, you can do things that are fun. You can entertain yourself. You can watch comedies or uplifting movies, and you just want to stay positive. You can do hobbies like gardening, playing an instrument. You can do art. You can draw. You can paint. You can color. You can even get a coloring book and just color by numbers. You don't have to be an artist. The whole point is to stay positive so you can feel empowered and so you can feel hopeful. And also, I would strongly suggest, if you're afraid to get sick, is that you will limit the amount of time that you spend watching the news, because the news is, I would say, in my humble opinion, it's like 99% bad. And maybe there's one article, maybe once a week, that is good. And so you want to stay away from the news as much as you can, because it's not good. It'll help you. It'll make you feel horrible. That's what it does to me. If I watch, like, even if I read or watch 5 minutes of the news, then I just start wanting to cry myself. And I don't like that feeling. That feeling is not a good feeling, physically or mentally or emotionally. So you can, when you watch the news, you can focus on the positive things. So focus on the recovery rate. What proportion of people have recovered? Like, for example, 98% of the people have recovered from the coronavirus. Don't focus on the mortality rate. That's all that we hear. Okay, these many people died today and these many more people are going to die yesterday. So focus on the recovery rate. Focus on the health rate. And that's what I would suggest to you. All right. Another way you can feel more empowered is to use visualization and your creativity. So you can imagine yourself in perfect health. You can imagine yourself that you have superior immunity, and you can imagine, you can say good things to yourself. Like, you can repeat these mantras: I'm strong and healthy, I'm strong and healthy, I'm strong and healthy. Or I radiate health through every cell and system in my body. So you want to keep those pictures, and you want to keep those in your mind, and you want to keep those mantras in your mind and stay positive. So visualization definitely helps you to stay focused and to stay positive. All right. So how are you guys doing? Are you guys good? Do you have any questions so far? What do you guys think? Any questions? All right, so we're going to move on. All right, you can also, continuing on the visualization theme, you can also daydream and visualize while you daydream. So what do you dream about? What do you dream about that's good, that's going to happen to you in 3 months, or in 6 months, or in a year? What do you visualize? Do you visualize going back to the same job? Do you visualize you going to your favorite summer outing? You Are you visualizing going to the beach? You want to visualize and daydream to feel hope and inspiration. And when you actually daydream, you're in a very relaxed state, so you're conducive to creating all kinds of things in your mind. And what you create in your mind eventually turns out to be reality. So when you visualize and daydream, you want to put all your emotions into it. So, like, if I'm going to the beach, I'm going to think about, oh, I love the beach. I love the sand on my feet. I love the warmth of the beach. I love getting in the water. I love seeing people being happy, and people playing, kids playing together, and people sunbathing, and then just the positivity and health around the beach. I just love it. So I can visualize that, and I could smell the ocean. I could smell the breeze. I could hear the birds. So anything that you can do with as much detail as you can that is positive, you want to stay on that track, and that helps you be empowered. All right, let me check to make sure that nobody has come up. Just a minute, please. I'm going to pause this for just a minute. All right, so Again, daydream and visualize. So another way to feel empowered. Right. Next, we're going to talk about your passions and interests. So what are your interests and passions? You want to spend time on these interests and passions because you want to feel creative, you want to feel hopeful, you want to feel positive. You want this because thoughts are things, and thoughts with emotions manifest. So you want to stay in the positive note again. So how are you spending time on your positive interests and passions? You don't know, your interest or passion may transform into a whole nother career for you, a whole new career that you can do, or you can move towards when as this pandemic is going on. So an example, a great example I have here is of Roger Ebert. So Roger Ebert is the movie critic, or was the movie critic. And as a young man, he loved watching movies. He just loved it so much, and he watched every movie that came out as soon as it was released. And he would tell his friends all about it, whether he liked this movie or what, don't watch this movie, or yes, watch this movie. And because he loved watching movies and that was his passion, and he spent time on that, he became the best film critic in America. And he won the Pulitzer Prize for criticism in 75 and 2005. And in fact, he became the first film critic to receive a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. So this is so very important, to follow your passions that makes you happy, makes you in the flow of life, and gets you hopeful, gets you on a positive note, and helps you feel empowered. All right, so that's another thing that I highly recommend, to pursue your passions and interests, especially right now with this pandemic. All right, the other thing that you could do is you can count down to alpha and breathe. So just doing this a few times a day, or if you get frustrated, or if you get angry, or whatever it is, just take a few moments. You stare at a fixed point in the wall, maybe a couple of inches above your direct vision, and you close your eyes. You breathe deeply 3 times, and then you count down. Either you count down from 50 to 1, or you count down from 10 to 1, and you relax and stay in that moment. And at that moment, after you do that, and you do this at your own time, you give gratitude for the things that you have in your life, for the good fortune that you have, whatever it is. Even if you have one hot dog there that you're eating, even if you have one cracker, you savor that cracker. So this is another way that you can totally feel empowered. And you could do this at any time, whether it's in the morning or if you are just frustrated. All right, so let's continue. So I'm having a great time with you. Thank you so much for joining me, and I love sharing this with you. I love having positivity and giving positivity to people. And I encourage you to ask me any questions that you have at any time. Just put your just raise your hand here in Zoom. All right. In Silva, we have a technique called cancel, and it really helps you with your limiting beliefs. It helps you change your limiting beliefs. So what you do in the Silva technique is, first you catch yourself. You're aware of what you're saying to yourself in your own mind, in your own voice. You catch yourself if you are thinking something badly about yourself. So for example, say I'm saying, I this actually happened to me the other day, and I said to myself, I'm always so slow at learning things. It always takes me longer than everybody else, and it just, I need more time than everybody else. So that's a limiting belief. So, and then I caught myself. It's like, that's not a good thing to say, because then if I think I'm slow, then I'm going to be slower, and it's just going to be a huge mess. So I caught myself saying that, and I said, cancel. And I said, no, that's not true. I'm actually a very intelligent person. who gets things very quickly, and I actually connect the dots and connect ideas or topics very quickly, and I can organize things in my mind very quickly. So I'm actually very sharp and very quick. So that's a way. This cancel technique is very simple, but it gets you in a frame of mind of, first, if you are thinking badly about yourself or about any event or anything like that, to reframe it so that it's empowering and you want to feel empowered. All right, thank you. All right, other things you could do are affirmations. All right, so affirmations are so important. And what you want to say is, you can say any affirmation that you want. You can make your own. There's so many affirmations. Even if you Google affirmations, you'll get like tons of things, tons of positive quotes. So some examples I have here. So I love and appreciate myself just as I am, because if I love myself, then love comes to me from other people and from the world and from source energy. All right, my life is blossoming in total perfection. So some things work out and some things don't, but there's a plan for my life and it's moving positively, and I'm moving positively in the right direction. Another one is, I deserve the best and accept the best now. So yes, I am deserving of this money. Yes, I am deserving of this love, or yes, I am deserving of these achievements. I deserve it. Another one, I have the courage and self-confidence necessary to put my solutions into practice. Right? Excellent. I love creating joyful, creative relationships. And so that empowers you to feel like you deserve a good relationship, and not just, of course, a partner relationship, but relationship with your kids, relationship with your friends, relationship with your coworkers. You deserve to have joyful, creative relationships. Next one is, I treat each new problem I encounter as a new door to be opened and an opportunity to be creative. So instead of thinking of things as problems, okay, I have this problem I have to do, I have this other thing that came up. So you think of this opportunity. Problems are opportunities to grow. Even if you make a mistake, you learn from your mistake and you move forward. Everything is an opportunity. So think of these affirmations. And, if you're not used to doing affirmations, then it might take you a while to get the hang of it. Even if you do just one or two affirmations a day, that's totally great. And I will put my feelings into it. I will put, for example, I would close my eyes and I would say, I love and I appreciate myself just as I am. I love me. And I will put my emotions into it as much as I can, because that absorbs that into your body and absorbs that to make that a habit and that you can really believe it. All right, so those are affirmations. All right, next we're going to talk about a very important person that really helps you feel empowered, and this is Emile Coué. So Emile Coué was a French psychologist who introduced autosuggestion, optimistic autosuggestion, and he basically, what autosuggestion is, that you repeat certain verbal statements, positive statements to yourself in your mind, and that eventually you believe these statements and that'll change your behavior. And he used this autosuggestion to treat a totally a wide variety of problems. People had kidney problems or diabetes, memory loss, stammering, all kinds of problems, as you can see here. And he helped them overcome that through autosuggestion. So what he basically said was, this is like a mantra that you repeat to yourself, and you could repeat it throughout the day. Um, he basically said to repeat this as you're falling asleep and as you're waking up, because when you're falling asleep, when you're waking up, you feel you're in the alpha state of mind. So you're very programmable at that time. So it's very important that you say the right things at that time. So what he would say was, every day, in every way, I'm getting better and better and better. And so he would do that, and through helping his patients do this, he helped them in a lot of different ways. And I would highly, excuse me, I would highly recommend this book that he has that I have down here in the notes. All right, so highly recommend that. Right. Excellent, excellent. So remember, Emil Koo, autosuggestion, every day in every way, I get better and better and better. And do that as you're waking up 20 times and when you're falling asleep 20 times. And that'll get in your subconscious so it can become, you can believe it and it could become reality for you. Okay. So it's very important to look at your surroundings and be aware of what's going on around you. So, what are you watching? Remember, the whole point of this is to transform fear and negativity to being self empowered. So, what are you watching on TV? Are you watching a lot of violent movies or a lot of pandemic movies or a lot of negative movies? Sometimes, I've watched movies before that just make me feel sick, because they're just so depressing or so violent. So I don't watch that. So be aware of what you're watching. You don't want to be watching, like, for example, I don't pass judgment on anybody, but if you want to watch a lot of violent movies, then you just become desensitized to that. If you want to watch positive movies, positive shows, positive documentaries, anything like that, what are you reading? Are you reading anything that's going to be useful to you? Anything that's good, like, for example, the Inquirer, you can read that, but like, I can read that, but it's not going to help me. It's not going to help me pursue my goals. It's not going to help me with my purpose in life of helping people. So I'm not going to read that. So you want to make sure you're focused and you stay positive. Who are you hanging out with? You want to make sure that you are surrounded with positive people who uplift you, who make you feel good, and you help them feel good, and they encourage you to take these steps to get better and better. Also, you want to think about how do you act when you're around others? Are you slouched like this, and are you looking down? Um, do you have a frown on your face? If you have a frown on your face, like, then people, you're not approachable, you're not open, and it might be, of course, you probably are not doing this because you want to. It's just maybe that you're just in the habit of doing that. So just be aware of your facial expressions, be aware of your posture, be aware of how you look at people. You want to look at people in the eye, and I realize some of these things might take some time because sometimes it's hard to break a habit. But if you continue and you persist, then you get better and better at it. All right, so more on that in a little bit, but be aware of your surroundings, what you're watching, what you're reading, what you're listening to, who are you hanging out with, and how you are carrying yourself, not just by yourself but around other people. All right. You also want to think about how you are using your voice, and your voice is a source of empowerment. You want to control how you speak. When you're anxious, when a person's anxious, we talk faster because we're nervous, or you might notice that somebody talks a lot. That might be that because they're nervous. So consciously slowing down and enunciating the words offers control and allows time for your emotions to kick in. So you wanna be clear as you speak, because you sound like you have more control, and you want to project your voice. You want to feel, when you project your voice, then it sounds like you're confident. So you want to practice on talking, projecting your voice, and also speaking clearly and speaking at a good pace. So that is a source of empowerment. Your voice is a source of empowerment. If right here I started talking like this, and I think I think this is correct and I think this will help you, then obviously, if I don't sound like I'm confident, then how am I gonna help other people? Nobody's gonna want to listen to me. So you wanna definitely have a good voice. All right, next is you want to watch your thoughts. What are you thinking? You want to take responsibility for your thoughts. You want to develop this alligator skin, and you can't let others define you. You just because somebody thinks you're not good at something, that's not going to define you. You decide if you need to get better at something, and you do that. But you cannot base your life and the way you act, the way you feel, on how somebody else feels about you and what somebody thinks about you. What matters is what you think about yourself. So in Silva, we have this mantra that we say. If somebody's so, for example, say if somebody told me, "Oh, Elian, um, you you don't how can I say this? You don't sound like you're talking, um, you know what you're talking about," for example. And then I would just say the Silva mantra, and it's negative thoughts and negative suggestions have no influence over me at any level of the mind. So whenever somebody criticizes you, you can say that mantra to yourself in your mind, and that'll help you feel more empowered. And um, it'll help their thoughts not go into you. Just a second, please. Yes, so think of that mantra: negative thoughts and negative suggestions will have no influence over me at any level of the mind. So you want to think about that. The next thing we want to talk about is to feel empowered. You, it's really recommended that you develop your natural talents. So, for example, if you are good at drawing, don't let anybody shame you for liking to draw. If you like to draw, then go ahead and draw and develop that talent. If you like to garden, go ahead and develop that talent. Don't be ashamed of it. Don't try to suppress it. If you're a very caring person, if you're a very loving person, if you're good at organizing, you want to develop that talent. That is a source of strength. That is not a source of weakness. So, for example, if you love singing, if somebody loves singing, don't, let's say, this is regardless of if you're good or not good. You just enjoy it, or you have a natural talent. So keep singing. You might you might wanna you might be singing in a church, or you might be singing in some audition. You want to develop your talents, your natural talents. And when you develop these natural things that you love and that you have talents for, then this empowers you. And it's a source of energy, uplifting energy, not just for you, but for everyone around you. So I encourage you to develop your natural talents. All right, the next thing we're going to talk about is another way to feel empowered is to give yourself a massage. So it sounds weird, but you want to take a few minutes, say 10 minutes every day, to give yourself a body massage. So you could stroke your scalp, you could stroke your head, your face, your face, your shoulders, and you want to go down to your body wherever you can reach and just give yourself a massage. And a lot of times, we're not happy with our bodies, and we're not happy. Um, for example, somebody might say my legs are so short, or whatever it is. You want to appreciate who you are. You want to appreciate your body. You want to love yourself, because if you love yourself, then you do positive things for yourself, and you do positive things for other people. And because you love yourself, people are gonna be want to be around you. They're gonna be want to hang out with you. They're gonna want your advice. They're going to want your company. So if you love yourself, it all good things come from that. So giving yourself a simple massage just to yourself, just loving yourself for those few minutes, that'll really go a long way into empowering you and making you feel good about yourself and loving yourself. All right, the next thing we want to talk about, all right, is you want to empower yourself to feel like you have power. You want to practice good posture. So you want to practice good posture, like you want to stand tall, like you could see this person here. You want to stand tall, um, and you want to. Not only do you look better when you stand tall or when you sit tall, but you have good, it helps your body alignment, it helps your back. All right, you don't want to have back pain, so you want to stand up straight, you want to have your shoulders back, and you want to hold your head up high because you're proud of yourself, you know who you are, and you're proud of yourself, and you have confidence. And you want to make sure you have eye contact, because eye contact is a sign that you're confident. If you can look at somebody in the eye and you can talk to them while you're looking at their eyes, then you're not afraid, and that is self empowering. And people, when they see somebody, if you think about, if you whenever you see somebody with good posture, you think that they're confident, and so you're not going to try to intimidate them in some way or try to take advantage of some way. So you might want to just look at somebody that you think has a good posture and exudes that confidence, and try to just copy them for a little while so you can get in the habit of this good posture. And the good posture is good for everything. It just makes you feel so much better. So like right now I'm sitting down, and so if I'm looking, have good posture here, I feel much better than if I'm slouched. If I'm slouched like this, I feel lazy, or I feel like, oh, I don't have energy, or I feel like, oh, I just don't feel good. So you want to sit up straight, stand up straight. Having good posture is very, very important, to have that feeling of empowerment. All right. Another way to feel empowered is to say no, to be able to say no to people. If somebody invites you to go somewhere, and you don't want to go, you should have the ability, or you can work on this ability to say no. No, no, thank you, I have other things to do. I appreciate your offer, but I don't. I'm not gonna go out to dinner tonight, or I'm not gonna go to the bar tonight, or whatever it is. And being able to say no, and you might need to practice a little bit, is very empowering, because that sets boundaries for yourself. And having boundaries and respecting yourself is very empowering. And just practice that if it's hard. I know that at some point a while back, it was hard for me sometimes to say no to people because I felt guilty, or I felt like I would hurt their feelings. But if you don't want to do it, and don't do it. If it's just not going to help you, it's not going to make you. If I don't want to go have dinner with somebody, and I go spend 2 or 3 hours with them, knowing that I don't want to have dinner either with that person or take the time out to have dinner, I'm just not. I'm gonna be looking at the clock. I'm gonna be like waiting till this dinner's over, and I'm just not gonna enjoy it. So don't do it if you don't want to. Think about that. Also, we touched on this before. You want to let go of negative people. So if you think about it, if you see somebody down the hallway that's angry, that's always angry, always grouchy with a frown on their face, always complaining, or just saying, talking bad about other people, it's just not good energy. So you want to let go of people that are like that. You don't want to associate with them. If you have to associate them with them, very I would limit my time with them a lot. I would reduce my time significantly so you don't have to be exposed to their negativity. And you wish them well, you send them love, but you just don't want to be around them. And you have to be very, very observant and very, very aware of the people around you and how they're gonna how they're affecting you. Because if they're negative, then I think of negativity as like contagious. If somebody's negative and always complaining, that's gonna make me feel negative and complaining, and that just is not gonna get me anywhere. So I try to really, really severely reduce my time with them, and I encourage you to do the same. All right. Also, another way to feel empowered, and I pray that you guys are getting a lot out of this. It is my pleasure to share this with you and to make you feel more empowered. So, uh, if you have things that you are not good at that you would love to be good at, then I would say take a class on that or learn online, or you can hire a tutor, or you can have private instruction, and you can get better at that. So for example, if I'm not good at budgeting, I'm going to read on budgeting, or if I'm not good at taxes, I'm going to read up on taxes and learn how to do that. And if I don't know how to program, for example, on a computer, I don't I'm going to learn, and I'm going to get better and better, and then I'm going to feel more empowered. So whatever you feel that you're not good, you're it's not that you're not good at it, but you would like to be better. I like to rephrase things, that you would like to be better at it. Then I would strongly suggest that you do these things so you can feel better about yourself. And when you feel like, yes, I'm not afraid of doing the budgeting anymore because I know about it, and I learned some easy tricks, not easy tricks, but easy ways to budget, and I can take care of that. And that makes you feel empowered because you did something that you thought you couldn't do and you took action. And that is fantastic. All right, so we're at some takeaways. So again, we've gone from fear and negativity to feeling self-empowered. So we went over a whole list of things that we could do, and I encourage you to visit this video and maybe scroll through it and take what you can. Even if you just take a couple of these things, suggestions that I gave you, you'll feel better and better. So some takeaways, just a brief summary of what we've talked about. You want to take action to decrease your fear and feel more empowered. You want to have gratitude in the morning, at night, and throughout the day. If you if you go to sleep with gratitude and happy, you'll wake up gratitude and happy, and you'll sleep the whole night with gratitude and happiness. We've also talked about cancel technique, the silver technique, to reframe a negative thought to a positive thought. Visualization and daydreaming is very, very important. You can do that for your health, for immunity. You can visualize what you want, your goals. All of that is excellent. And we've talked about some very practical empowerment techniques like your posture, your voice, all of that stuff. And then the last thing I want to tell you about is I have some books that I thought would help you. So there's a book called Power by Michael Korda, and he talks about different ways you can feel more empowered. And he even talks about, for example, like if you have an office at work, how do you lay out your office and your desk so you can have more power. If you are interested in just self-defense, um, this this person's talking about just violence on the street and how you could read people. He was an ex police officer. So he talks about different ways you can read people so you can be aware of just what's around you as far as violence is concerned. And I also wanted to share this book that's really excellent. It's called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And that is just a good, an excellent book. It helps you read more and more and feel more abundant. And you can read it many, many times. In fact, I'm going to do a mastermind on Think and Grow Rich. So stay tuned for that one. All right, so just books that would help you. I thought I would list three of them. And knowledge is power, and applied knowledge is even more powerful. So not only do you know, but you can apply your knowledge. That is very, very powerful. And I also wanted to close this with I'm gonna have a mini class, and this is one of the most important Silva techniques that we have. It's called the mirror of the mind. And it's a technique that you can use, and people all over the world use it, and it has a really, really high success rate. You can use it for problem solving and goal attainment, and you use basically visualization to define a problem in the present, and you're honest about it, and then you use imagination for another screen to define the future solution or goal. And this creates a clear image for you that you can aim for, and that is your goal. So you have two screens: your present screen, your present problem, and a solution screen or goal screen. And we talk about how to program for that. I'm going to do a guided meditation of the mirror of the mind. And some examples where you can use this are for if you want to have your ideal job or career, make more money. You can, or if you can solve you want to solve a problem at work or at school, some challenge that you're having with a person, or some challenge that you're having about an event. If you're interested in a particular car, if you have a dream car, say I want to own a Jaguar, for example, you can program with the mirror of the mind. So the mirror of the mind is a very, very useful technique. It's one of the most popular techniques in Silva. And so we're going to talk about it. I'm going to have some questions. I'm going to give you a chance to ask some questions. And all right. So I'm going to have a chance to ask you some questions about the mirror of the mind, and we're going to discuss it. It's part of the 4-day immersion. Usually we have this on day 1 or day 2 of the 4-day immersion, the Silva immersion. And I'm going to offer this to you for $29, which is an immense bonus because it's so important and it's so useful and it's so practical, this technique, that it'll change your life, this one technique alone. So I'm going to offer it on Wednesday, May 27th at 7 o'clock. So please contact me if you're interested about that, and I'll be happy to share what I know, and to teach you this technique and to program it. And I welcome you to come to this event. The other event I wanted to talk about is we have the Silva Method of New Hampshire has 4-day immersions, and the immersions are, like I said, 4 days. It goes from a Thursday to a Sunday. Starts at 9 and 8:30 in the morning on a Sunday. I'm sorry. Actually, it starts on a Thursday and it ends on a Sunday. So you start at 8:30 in the morning on Thursday and you go all the way to Sunday. And of course, you have time to sleep, you have time to have lunch and dinner and all of that. But our live Silva immersions are in July and also in November. And they're in Exeter, New Hampshire at the Hampton Inn and Suites. And we go from the first day is relaxation all the way to the last couple of days, which are based on intuition and using your intuition to help yourself and to help heal other people. So I highly encourage you to come. I invite you to come. I look forward to seeing you. I can't wait to meet you and discuss all these wonderful things with you to help you in your life and whatever area of your life that you are interested in. And here is my picture, and here is my phone number and my email. So if you have any questions whatsoever, please reach out, and I'll be happy to discuss this with you. So those two events, the Mirror of the Mind again. So I have this on May 27th at 7, and I also have this a 4-day immersion, which are going to be in July. They're going to be live um, in July and in November in Exeter, New Hampshire. So thank you for so much for joining me. It was an absolute pleasure to share this with you, to share this information with you. If you have any thoughts or any comments, suggestions, please feel free to reach out to me. I love talking to people. I love to help people, and I highly encourage you to contact me. I would love to hear all about your story, even if you are a Silva graduate or if you're not a Silva graduate. Either way, I would love to hear from you, and I welcome you with open arms to Exeter, New Hampshire. Thank you so much. Take care, folks. Love yourself and be positive, stay positive, and practice some of these empowering techniques that'll really help you, especially right now with what's going on with the pandemic. Thank you. Thank you. Have a wonderful evening, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you so much. Again, this is the Silva Method of New Hampshire, and Silva Method of New Hampshire, and my name is Elian Solorzano. So thank you. Have a great day, and I look forward to giving you another talk in the future. And again, please reach out. I love talking to people. I'm a very social person, so I welcome. Bye bye. Thank you, folks. Love you all. Thank you. Bye bye.